Hello, good morning. This is Rob from GRAF, and this week we're going to be continuing our series of videos by elaborating on the second trend that's happening on the continent of Africa. If you remember, last week we did trend number 1, which was about urbanization, about people moving from the countryside into the towns and cities. And this week we're going to be discussing trend number 2. So what is trend number 2? Trend number 2 is the Industrial Revolution that's happening in Africa. As these people move from the countryside into the towns and the cities, they're coming for new jobs in new industries. They're coming for jobs in retail and the service sector, but also jobs in manufacturing. It's happening slowly, but the Industrial Revolution is hitting Africa. These pictures here are from Hawassa Enterprise Park in Ethiopia. That's south of Addis Ababa. And this was part of a government initiative to solve some of the problems with industry and manufacturing taking off in Africa. Those problems are infrastructure problems and bureaucracy problems. So the government in Ethiopia came up with these large industrial parks, which are well watered and well served by electricity and other services, and allow large scale and efficient manufacturing to take off. The first question, though, is that manufacturing for the purposes of imports, replacing imports and displacing imports, or is it about exporting industries to get in hard currency and improve the balance of trade? It is suggested that over the next few years, Africa could quite easily double its manufacturing output just to substitute imports. This would create a total of 11% more jobs across the whole continent. And that would be just solely about inter-Africa trade. It wouldn't be about exports off the continent. There are many success stories already. Heineken is the popular one to talk about. Heineken has bought up and completely revolutionized breweries all over the African continent. And they're followed by GZ Industries, an aluminium can manufacturer who are serving Coca-Cola and Heineken across the African continent. And they're overcoming the problems of manufacturing Africa and being incredibly successful. The Chinese industrial might is doing a lot. Chinese industry is forecast to be 12% of all African manufacturing in the next few years. And 93% of all the Chinese manufacturing output is about serving the domestic African market. They're suggesting that over the next few years, if those industries double their output, another $326 billion worth of revenue could be added to their output. Then there's the question of Africa as an export. Can it work with these high infrastructure costs, high electricity costs, and other problems? Well, it can. Renault and Peugeot invested $2 billion in a car plant in Morocco in North Africa. That plant's capable of producing 650,000 cars and 200,000 engines a year, and it's doing it very successfully. It's competing on the world market on prices, and it's exporting into its key European markets. And how is it doing that? Well, the key attribute of Africa is low labor costs. The labor costs in Africa are estimated to be 20% of the labor cost in China, and China is considered to be a low-cost manufacturer and assembler. And this is what's going to allow African business and African manufacturing to compete on the world market when you consider there are other hindrances, high electricity and bureaucracy costs and logistics costs. So this one attribute, low labor costs, will allow the Industrial Revolution to take place. And as it happens, all the other costs will come down as the problems are solved. Any comments on this? Drop a message below or send me a private message. Thanks for now, and next week we'll discuss trend number 3.